lot of like because they're filling a void.
Yeah.
There's no male version of The View
Yeah.
where
Right.
guys turn on and they can see and deal with men's
Well,
issues.
there is a market for that then.
Exactly.
Hey, maybe you might be the person to
Well, I'm
help
learning
bring this
myself.
together. Right. But you might be the person to you know, um bring people together, like, and to have a conversation about that, because you're right. You're right.
Oh, are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Okay. Did you connect your Facebook?
I don't think, nope.
Can
I
you
was
do
just
that?
gonna send it afterwards.
Okay, because make sure that you connect it, because that way you don't
And
have to send it. It'll just automatically go to the Facebook page.
okay.
Like when you go to your destination, I don't know if you can do it now, but if you go to your destinations, you should be able to see whether it's connected or not.
Yeah, we did that last week, and I don't remember whatever we concluded. I knew for sure that it was going to YouTube. I only had one choice, actually. I think I only had one choice.
Oh, it's only one?
Yeah, I only had one
Okay, they
choice.
must have changed it because before it was you could put it on YouTube or you can put
Mhm.
it on Facebook, but now I guess because you're using the free version, so it's
Yep,
probably just one.
yep,
Okay,
yep, yep.
that's
You
cool.
know how that works.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Mhm.
I invited a couple of friends. Don't know if they'll make it or not for the conversation. But let's start talking.
Well, make sure you sent because when you sent me that link the first time, it was to
Mhm.
the old show, so it was taking me.
Yeah,
So you got to make sure you send them the correct link.
yeah. I resent it to
Because I was
I
like,
resent
what's
it.
going on? And it's like, I was like, okay, she must have been sending the old link.
Okay, let me yeah, I resent it to. Oh wait, let me see something here. Here's the link. Oh yeah. Okay. So wait, let me redo that because okay. All right. Well, that's good enough. So you know what, the what you posted before was really really good. The I saw it on the invite initially. It was like rules for dating back in the day. Hey, Eric.
Oh, you
Hello.
talking?
Oh, sorry.
Hello?
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Hey,
How are you, Eric? This
Doing all
is my
right.
friend. Hold up. This is my friend Eric.
peace,
Oh,
Eric.
hello. Hey, how is going?
I'm good.
All right.
So I was just Eric talking to Mark about, there was something that he posted about dating, like the rule, was it the rules of dating that you had up here, Mark? Do you have it with you?
Oh, rules for dating my daughter.
No, I don't know, but it was something that I can't remember.
Yeah, I posted that on the invite for the dating.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. Do you have it?
yeah,
We go. Can you read it to me?
yeah. It says rules for dating my daughter. Number one, I'm everywhere.
Mm.
Number two, understand I don't like you. Number three, you hurt her, I hurt you. Number four, be home 30 minutes early. Number five, if you lie to me, I will find you. Number six, never honk. Dates ring the doorbell once. Number seven, whatever you do to her, I will do to you. Eight, she is my princess, not your conquest. Nine, keep your hands off of her, I will remove them. 10, I'll just be waiting here cleaning my gun.
So
There's a vetting process I told you about.
yeah, yeah. So Eric, last week we were talking about gaslighting. And are you familiar with the term gaslighting?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. I wasn't, and I'm still. I don't know if I'm good at explaining it, but anyway. But in the course of speaking about gaslighting, um, we talked about, or Mark brought up a very solid point, which is about vetting, having people in your life to help vet your potential mates and your potential mates. So we thought that this week it would be nice to continue the conversation about mate selection and dating, you know, and taking it back old school. There's nothing wrong with taking it back old school, because I don't know what you think, Eric, but Mark and I kind of feel like um, we've lost a lot of good values that in terms of, the vetting process. Now it's an individual thing. The you don't meet your child's mate or lover or baby mama or baby daddy until there's a bun in the oven, or something serious has gone down. But gone are the days where all the things that Mark said, you came to the door, a man came to the door and asked, for to greeted, introduced himself, and shook the dad's hand, et cetera, et cetera. And the change of all of that has so many different trickle down effects in society, and there's just such a breakdown in society, in my humble opinion, as it relates to the mate selections. I have a lot of young people in my life that are close to me, and it's the same story over and over. You're wooed by this guy, and you think he's the one, and then slowly but surely he starts showing you signs of narcissism, but you think you're in love, so you put up with it. There's no dad or uncle or sister or mother that's included in the process, and then there's a child involved, and you guys are in a hateful Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde relationship, and it's just awful. So one of the things that I found, Mark, was that when I was thinking about the topic, is that 60 years ago, marrying and dating, which is what to your list, marrying and dating and mate selection was in large part based on how your parents felt about the individual. You considered how healthy the person was, what their moral character was, how stable their economic resources were. And today we seem to search for soulmates, but we may not necessarily do any of that stuff, And another thing too is that the prime age, quote unquote, for dating is like 18 to 24. And that's all well and good, but they say that your frontal, is it your cortex? Guys, is it that develops, in
Oh,
your
don't get me
20s?
to lying.
Yeah, I
Huh?
mean, there's a frontal lobe cortex. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, there's a part of the brain that's still developing in young teens in terms of making decisions, and I mean that's part of the reason why they say that you shouldn't treat juveniles as adults in the criminal justice system, because there are certain mental processes that are still developing in the teens. Yeah, I think it's the frontal lobe or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so even that, to me, that speaks to the fact that it would be great if we had more what did you call it, Mark, more of a vetting process that's established from young. And last week we talked about the fact that we have to develop relationships with the people in our lives. And now I always say young, but Mark always says and older people too, and that's true. I think that it's cool, it's good to kind of involve each other in to get another opinion from your brothers and your sisters about the people that you're aligning your energies with, because it does change, who you get involved with, whether you procreate or not, does have an effect on the trajectory of your life. So it's not a light and an easy, it's not something that we should breeze over, and it's not something that we should stay out of, you know what I mean, in terms of because we're very critical of our young people when they we're critical of our young people when they make bad decisions, but are we actively involved, at least even if they don't listen to us, are we actively involved in helping them when they're before they make decisions? You know what I mean? Or are we saying, okay, you're 18, you're good, you're on your own, do what you must. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like the thought process that I had. Mark, did you have any other thought processes regarding?
Not offhand. I'm just listening to what you're saying.
Okay. So one of the things that I thought about also was, if I'm looking for a mate, right? Before I even get to my dating process, I'm thinking about what are my codes. And Dr. J, which is my big brother and a family counselor to many that I'm connected to, he always talks about these codes. What are the codes that we live by? And I think if you establish what your codes are, I think that that's also a part of that plays a part in your mate selection. You know what I mean by codes, guys?
Yeah, I think I do. Yes. What are your values, or what are your yeah, I guess your basically your the way you live, the rules that you live by.
Exactly. Like for me, and I want to hear what your codes are. For me, my codes, and I had to think about this. I was like, gosh, I don't know if this is as easy, to write it down, but um respect. I carry myself with a level of respect, and that comes from, how I address you as an individual, as a human, as a spiritual being having a human experience, how I carry myself. you know Everybody's talking about Monique, and how, there's a lot of critics, which is unfortunate for me from my perspective, and I try not to judge people's opinions, but I think Monique is kind of speaking about a code. How do you carry yourself? So respect is a big one for me. Class, that goes hand in hand, having a sense of class in terms of my attire. Public behavior, I'm not going to be cursing somebody out in the middle of the street. Now, this is the thing, though, is not to say that I've not had instances where I broke my codes, because I'm not telling anybody that I'm perfect, and I'm just sharing my opinions. But what else is a code for me? Then there, and some of these are attached to family codes. I hold the door for people. I don't let doors slam in your face when I'm walking through. That's a code of behavior for me. I hold door for people. And my willingness to compromise without belittling myself is, in a relationship, in a friendship, that's a code for me. So I think that, again, I'm connected to writing things down. I have to write things down to connect with my thoughts. So I think that when you're deciding that you want to have a mate, I think it's something that you should take seriously if you're serious about having a mate. Now, if you're just screwing around, hey, I don't know. But if you're serious about a mate and you're dating with a purpose, nothing wrong with dating to have fun. Nothing wrong with, we're adults. Nothing wrong with having lovers either. I'm cool with that. But just in terms of mate selections, and speaking to our young adults, deciding what your codes are to live, the codes that you have to live by, is important first, because then when you meet someone and you get to know someone, you can identify whether or not their codes aligns with yours. They might be okay with calling you the B word. That might not be your code, of ethics. They might be okay with arguing in the middle of the street over something frivolous or significant. That might not be your code. Non-abusive, which kind of speaks to not being in an abusive relationship, not being an abuser yourself, a verbal or a physical abuser, not finding a way to get your frustrations out, as opposed to taking your frustrations out on everybody else. That's a code. Knowing how to deal with anger, having a way that you deal with frustration and anger. Those are significant to me. What do you guys think?
I was going. Okay, I guess I'll speak. Okay, there was a whole lot that you said there, so I'm gonna unpack it while I unpack it. But first, I wanted to ask you. You mentioned Monique. Are you talking about Monique, the comedian?
Yes.
Okay, okay. I just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure what she was going through. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make
So
sure.
did you know about the whole bonnet controversy? How she got on the on Instagram, and she talked about she was in her house, she had on a robe, and she talked about the fact that, to her babies, and she said, hey, if I see you, you guys call me Auntie Monique, and I take that responsibility seriously. And I take that responsibility seriously. And if I see you in the street with bonnets on and pajamas on and slippers, I'm going to tap you and say, hey, sis, I'm not saying that you don't respect yourself, but coming outside in sleepwear kind of portrays to, society that, you don't really respect yourself. And there's a better way to represent yourself. Not saying that you don't have to have your hair covered, but you can easily, find prettier ways to do that. Not saying you have to have on makeup or, a wig or anything like that, but just carry yourself with dignity, class, and respect. And, so that's what I was referring to. And everybody came for her. People were like, oh, you, what did they say? You had on your robe, so you're telling us to be classy, but here it is, you're in your robe. And people were like, I'll wear what I daggone please. If I'm protecting my hair, I'll wear what I daggone please. It's none of your business. Yada, yada, yada.
Oh, okay. I did not hear about that. I thought you were referring to, I know that Monique was in the news when she basically made a series of challenges in terms of equity in her pay.
Yeah,
because she was in a war words with Steve Harvey for a while and all of that kind of stuff. But okay, well, she's actually very outspoken, and I think she has a lot of wisdom. So I'm a big fan of hers.
Me too.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess, I would think that it's slightly different for, adults, people like my age, and maybe for, like, young people, like you said, like in your 20s and stuff like that. Because I think that a lot of what kids want and expect from relationships comes from their peer group. And more is from social media. So, this whole idea of, having, the woman has to, or the man has to meet these certain values and stuff like that. Maybe I don't have kids, and I guess I haven't really hung around that many young people, but it just doesn't seem like that's what's driving their decision-making process. And even to be honest with you, when I was a kid, that didn't really was part of my decision-making process. I think, basically what saved me from disaster was, I was very introverted, very shy. So I just didn't date. So, but, when I was thinking about, girlfriends and stuff like that, I really tell you the truth, I really wasn't thinking about does she, spend time, doing community service, or, does she, even go to church or anything like that? Because, when you're with your friends, you're talking about basically sister's physical attributes.
Right.
And so, and you want to, part of it is you want to have somebody who, will wow your friends and, wow yourself. I mean, I think that, for at least for me, part of it was, I guess, if I was to say there was a code, the code was, I had to at least be able to have a conversation with the sister,
Right.
and and if that worked, then it was all. So I think definitely I had parents who were like, you don't want to just bring anything home, or you don't want to go out with anything because you don't want to get somebody pregnant and it all goes bad. But and that was in the back of my mind. But in terms of at that age, I wasn't really looking for a life mate. At that age, you want somebody to chill with, you want to have fun, you want somebody who you think you vibe with, but you're not thinking, well, this is going to be the person that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. It's just at that age, I mean, at least you have to have a certain maturity level that I don't think I really had until I went through some things. And then once you go through life and you realize that, hey, it's really, really helpful to have somebody who meets certain codes and stuff like that, then you start to think about that. And so it wasn't really until I'm in my 20s, really past, not even in college. I think once I got into grad school, that I was like, oh, okay, I need to start looking at some certain things other than this sister's physical attributes. So, so that's for young people. I think now, I think we had conversation before is, everybody's talking about their dating and this and this and this and this. I'm still at the point where it's just very hard to even talk to sisters, because I think that the vibe is I don't know. I mean, I'm from the South, and so I guess I'm just very used to just meeting somebody randomly on the street and just having a conversation, because it's not about, oh, this person's trying to talk to me to get in my pants or anything like that. It's just we're having a conversation. We're asking a question, whatever. But here is, I guess maybe it's a northern thing or whatever. It's just I don't know. It's just more. It's just difficult to even have an initial conversation, just a friendly, hey, what are you doing? So to get to a point where that you can actually start to try and figure out whether you're going to date a person or not. I think, my experience has been a lot of people are now going into like the Match.com, the Tinder, or whatever the social media space is, and that gives you this false impression that, hey, I am betting this person and codes because they had to write this essay and tell what their values are and this and this and this and this. But a lot of that stuff people can lie about, just like the pictures people can lie about and stuff like that. So I've had conversations like, well, if I can't talk to you on the street, if I can't, go into Whole Foods and say hello, or I can't talk to you at work, or, say we can't have a conversation, where are we supposed to meet at? And they say, well, Match.com. And it's like, but okay. So, so as at our age, if they tell you, I don't have anything to add about dating because I'm not doing it. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Mark.
you're not alone.
I was just going to ask you to chime
Not
in.
alone. Everything he's saying is true. It's like, and I gave you, like, I think I had told you the story to give you an idea of what he's talking about. When I was in Fayetteville, North Carolina with my brother, and we were walking down in the town, and walking toward us was these two fine sisters. So because I'm from New York, I know how that is. they're going to ignore you.
Mm.
So I don't even bother wasting my time trying to talk to them.
Mm.
And I was walking, and both of them said good morning, and I literally couldn't get the word out to respond. I was like shocked.
Wow.
And it just let you know that this is how dysfunctional it is in New York. That just simple common courtesy is not even accepted. You know, like there's an argument in the Black community about Black women smiling. That's actually an argument. Like there's a lot of Black women that feel, well, it's like you're demanding me to smile. It's like, what?
Yeah.
What the hell is wrong with you? Like that's just basic common courtesy. It's like, and that's actually, I see a lot of women get online and complain that, oh, this woman is getting this amount of attention, but the Black men don't seem to be doing it for the. Well, maybe if you smile, which is one of the basic forms of mating, because it's a go signal. Like I told you before, you don't have to approach a guy that you like. All you have to do is give the guy you like go signals. Let him know that he can approach you. And usually how you know that is with a smile. Eye contact and a smile is so easy. That's why when women tell me about they can't get with men, you have to be the most incompetent woman on the face of the earth if you don't know how to attract men. It's the easiest thing in the world. So, but the thing is, people make it out to be more difficult because, like I said, I'm segueing into something that we had talked about before. White feminists have perverted the feminine principle. And Black feminists have followed them off the edge of the cliff. They've totally perverted what femininity is to the point where if you just say basic things, like you see the post that I sent you where there are actually women, Black women, who are trying to get the song Cater to You by Destiny's Child banned. Because they're saying, oh, they're talking about catering to the man. That's slavery. And I'm sitting there going, why are women listening to a bunch of women who have no interest in being with men? If you have no interest in being with men, why are you involved in the conversation? Because there are a lot of women that want to be with men. There are a lot of women that don't mind catering to men. Men and women can get together. And I think that the men and women used to be able to get together, like he was saying, fairly easy. When we were coming up, it was not that difficult to talk to the opposite sex. Now, because we have all of these people who have gripes and complaints and beefs with the opposite sex coming in with a big ass microphone to try to give advice to people, now everybody's got their Star Trek defensive shields up, and you can't even be a decent, just human being. You can't exchange common courtesy with each other. And then those same people would turn around and talk about how, oh, I can't find nobody. Wow, that's a shocker. I wonder why.
Yeah. I mean, I share his frustration. I mean, it's actually a very, really kind of interesting thing. Actually, when you sent me this link and we're texting about it, I always think about this time when you was talking about Fayetteville. I had an opposite direction action here. I work for a company. We do contracting for Department of Defense, and so we have our security vetting and stuff like that. So I have this secret clearance access that they go in your background and they check you out, make sure that nothing's wrong before you can get access. So I'm working in this building, and basically there's this woman, a Black woman, who was working on my floor, and she was attractive, but I don't try and hit on people in the workplace because of obvious reasons. So, and I just assume we all know that, right? So, we would walk past each other and I would say hello and she would not say anything, or she would turn away and just keep on walking. So, this went on for a few months, and I guess maybe there was something that was freaking her out or something. I don't know what it is. But we happened to be going to the restroom at the same time, and the men's and women's restrooms are next door to each other, right? And so she came around the corner, I came around the corner at the same time, and she saw me, and she tried to speed up to avoid having to say hi or hearing me say hi. But the funny thing is, so she raced around the corner to get through the women's door before I could come around the corner and get it. But in the process, she didn't see that, you know, the door jam, it raised a little bit on the floor, and her toe caught it, and she tripped on it and fell flat face first into the women's restroom. And I stopped. You know, it wasn't funny because, you know, she could have been hurt. And I managed to say, well, you know, are you okay, sister? And she didn't even want to, you know, because I'm sure she was embarrassed. But, you know, after she got through the door and closed the door, I'm just sitting there like, this is crazy. Because, you know, we're in a professional workplace. We've both been vetted by the federal government. So there's a, you know, it can't be that you think I'm an axe murderer or something, I mean, or whatever. It's just this sister, you know, she just did not want to speak. And so that, if you go, you know, not only in that, but just even like Whole Foods or any kind of upscale place, it's, yeah, I agree with Mark. It's just, it's something that is just very specific, I think, to the North. Because whenever I go back home, you know, folks are like, oh, child, yeah, you know, and they don't know you from Adam, but, you know, you can talk. And it's not, whether they're married or not, you know, you can have a conversation, and it's just assumed that you're just being friendly. But up here, it seems like the assumption is, you know, you're trying to get in the pants. And so,
and that's only with black men. Let's add that, because I guarantee you, I don't even know this woman. She ain't doing that with white dudes.
With her white counterparts,
Yep.
white colleagues.
It's only you, because it's like, I spoke to you about this, Mary.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have a really difficult time. Like, when it comes to older women with locks, older men, or even younger men with locks, we'll have some type of acknowledgement. Mm-hmm. Like, you see another person with locks, like, hey, what's up? Blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. Younger women, or women younger than me, because their mentality, oh, nigga, just because you think you got locks, that don't mean we got any type. I'm like, they have an instant negative reaction to anything having to do with connecting with somebody, which is why I said, I keep telling women, watch the words that you use, because the words have meaning. Mm-hmm. And when you're walking around saying that I'm independent means alone. You can't be independent and be in a relationship at the same time. The definition of independent is alone. So they use that all the time, saying, well, if that's what you want to be, then what you complaining about? If you're alone and you're saying, well, I'm an independent woman, and you're by yourself, duh. Isn't that what's supposed to be? Because you're not saying anything about connecting with people, forming some type of relationship, understanding the relationship between men and women. Because there's a lot of incompetent women out here when it comes to relationships, and it comes to mating and dating and all of that stuff. And therefore, a lot of incompetent men. It's like everybody is just, you know, basically doing their own thing and not really trying to understand and connect with the opposite sex. Because where are they going to learn that from? If they don't have parents that, well, first of all, have parents, which the mother and the father that's there as a reference that you can look to in a functional relationship, then where are they going to get it from?
Yeah.
And that's what the problem is. It's like, which gets back to like the reason why we even came up with this topic was the role of the family has been so destroyed and misinterpreted and just basically rendered irrelevant. Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, you have families now that don't have dinner at the table. That used to be a staple in American culture. You know, like the mom makes dinner and everybody eats at the table. Now, if you even say, oh, the mom makes dinner, oh, you want me barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen? And it's like, that's the problem. It's like and they're taking their cues from white feminists. Because that's total white feminist BS. What crazy person, what crazy woman is going to have a problem with a man who holds the door open for her? Are you insane? I know some of the strongest black women. I mean, we got one of them here on this live stream. Mary would never look at a brother holding the door open for her and then look down and like, oh my God, you're trying to take away from my femininity by holding the door open. It's like, are you crazy?
Yeah. Please hold the door for me.
Exactly. You have to be insane.
Please give me a seat on the train and on the bus.
Thank you.
Please help me with my bag if I'm struggling to my car. Please.
Yeah, like, and one brother made the point, and I agree with him. If you can't give a black man a smile, if you can't connect with a black man that you don't know and be cordial, why should that black man protect you? If something's happening out in these streets, you expect some guy who you don't know to jump in and protect you because you're a black woman. But let's flip that around. He's asking for a smile. You can't give it to him because why? You don't know him. Oh, you don't know me. Why should I talk to you and say good morning? Because I don't know you. Well, then he don't know you when you getting your ass kicked in the streets. When you stuck on the side of the road and you got a car with a flat tire, he don't know you. Why should he stop and help you? See, it's this one-sided shit. It's like everybody wants somebody to do something for them, but they don't realize that other people may want something too.
Yeah, actually, to your point, actually, that happened not too long ago because I live here in Anacostia, and if you walk down, like, 11th Street, Howard, there's a lot of brothers that's just hanging out and this and this and this. And yeah, there was this young sister dressed to the nines. She was selling some kind of product. So she was going to business from biz door to door. And she just didn't realize, hey, this area, you might want to just kind of go through or ignore there because there are not really any businesses other than the liquor stores, and that's where people are congregating. And so anyway, one brother saw her and was kind of harassing her a little bit, sort of say. And so I was walking by and I was like, hey, are you okay? Because I didn't know whether she knew this guy or not or whatever. And she was like, no, I'm not, I need help. And so so I basically went between her and this brother, and and I had a conversation with him like, hey, she's with me, let's just let it go, you keep on your way and we'll go our way. And so kind of diffuse that situation, walk across the street. Now I wasn't expecting, I guess, you're not expecting it. You do what you're supposed to do, right? But like Mark said, not a smile, not anything. And I guess I realized that, I look like these other brothers because, I'm in my, torn jeans. I tend to kind of dress down or whatever. And so I realized, like, you know what? She's just as afraid of me as she was of this other guy. So
you helped her and she didn't even return. Like, she didn't even say thank you.
Smile.
I think she did say thank you, but that was it. I mean, she just did not want to engage. She didn't smile. She didn't, because I think she was just scared. And so what I did when I finally realized, because I would walk down with her past the guys and stuff like that. And I asked her some question about, hey, what are you selling, this and this? And she just did not want to talk. So I finally realized, you know what? She's scared of me because she doesn't know me, just like that other brother. To her, I could be that brother just trying to take advantage of the situation. So I just said, hey, look, we're through the situation. You're past whatever. I'm going to keep on going. Have a good day. And that was it. So, yeah, wow. You are expected to follow these standards or whatever, but oh wow, yeah, man. That's great. I have a similar story. It was a older black woman, and this was a couple of years ago when I was actually riding the train, and I got off at Union Square, and she was struggling to get up the steps with this shopping cart. So I came up from behind, grabbed the bottom of the shopping cart and lifted it up. and she was walking up the stairs. She didn't even look back. The moment the cart hit the top of the stair, she kept it moving.
Yeah.
Never said thank you.
She didn't thank me. I guess she must have thought she turned into the Incredible Hulk or something.
Wow.
The hand of God.
Yeah. The moment that car hit the top, she just kept it going. Didn't even turn around to see me.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
We were on the me and my coworker were on the bus, and the woman was doing some, I forget exactly what she was doing, but he offered to help, and she gave him the dirtiest look
Mm.
when he was merely trying to help her. I think he was trying to help her pick something up or whatever, and she looked at him like, who the fuck is you?
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't speak that language. I really don't even understand. I understand being fearful, but I don't understand if someone being polite to you, helping you with the cart, asking you if you're okay after you made a fool of yourself by trying to not avoid speaking to me. And now some of us spiritual people would say that she kind of did that to herself by that whole accident with you, Eric, the lady who was being so rude that she fell. You know what I'm saying? That was the universe kind of teaching her a lesson. But I don't understand. I don't speak that language. I don't understand not being polite. The only time I've ever been fearful, I used to walk through the streets, never feeling fear about my brothers and sisters, no matter where I was. I never assumed that because I was in what was quote unquote, perhaps, a bad neighborhood, that my brothers and sisters were to be feared until several years ago, many years ago, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I was pumping gas and I went to pay. And of course, I do a lot. So I'm working on this, but I tend to, have my wallet in my hand and I'm moving through. And I guess the neighborhood wasn't the best. And I remember seeing this guy come in with he had a bottle of juice. And in my mind, I said, he doesn't look like he could pay for that. Right. I don't know where that thought came from. But I looked at him. So I go in, I pay, I go to the thing. I still got my wallet in my hand, and this dude pulled a gun on me. And and I just screamed. I said, take it, take it, take it. And at that point, something shifted in me. And that night I was so traumatized that anytime I saw we were going out of town. And I had forgotten something in my apartment. So I was about to go inside the apartment and I saw these two Black men coming out and I couldn't remember what was in my wallet. So I didn't know, in my paranoia, I didn't know if, people had my address or whatever, but I was literally shaken so much that anytime I saw a brother that remotely looked like this guy, I froze or moved in the opposite direction. And from that point on, I did become a bit cognizant and fearful of being in that neighborhood or neighborhoods that reminded me of that, because of that incident, seeing a gun pointed at me, that changed things for me. Since then, though, that trauma left my body and I'm back to, not, I'm mindful. I walk with pepper spray because shit happens in all neighborhoods. Okay.
Right.
Crazy people live everywhere and crazy people don't necessarily look like that brother. Crazy people come in all different shapes, and sizes and color. But I don't speak the language of, I'm a lady. You know what I mean? And I want my young ladies in my life to be young ladies. And if that's the walk that they're walking. And I believe in being respectful of all people because brothers have feelings too. And that's the thing. Brothers have feelings too. Brothers want to be yes, I believe in I subscribe to men providing and protecting. Okay, I don't want to be in my relationship. I want my hubby to be the one walking on the outside of the street. I do. And because literally he's protecting me, and that is a symbol of being the protector. But I also recognize that fellas do need to be catered to. So I don't agree with that whole take down that song. There's not that fellas need to be catered to. If you're treating me with respect and love and as a lady and as your queen, and yes, I am going to cater to you. I am going to. Men need love too. It's okay to wine and dine your fella every now and then. Also, I subscribe to that. In the dating scene, it's okay. I am in a happy relationship for 9 years. Guess who took who out on the first date? I invited him out for tea and crumpets for the first date. And then I decided, now I'm going to take you to this place called the Cabanos. And that was the best thing ever, the best decision ever. Since then, he's beat me at, the dates that he has taken me on and the trips around the world, literally far outweighs that. What I've done for him and what I'm able to do for him. But I was the one who took him out on our first date. So ladies, it's okay to acknowledge the fact that our brothers need affection and attention too.
I want to chime in on that while it's on my mind, what you just said.
Please do.
What these girls don't understand, and like I said, a lot of women are incompetent when it comes to men. If you don't want to cater to your man, guess what signal that sends to your man or the guy that you supposedly in this relationship with by yourself? Because I don't understand that shit. But it sends the signal that you don't respect him. If you don't allow him to be the man, if you don't want to cater to him, then it means you don't respect him, because you damn sure will cater to the man you respect. So if you have confused as to why you can't connect with anybody, maybe you should look at that. Are you actually giving respect to these guys that you supposedly have an interest in? Because if you don't have respect for them, then why are you dating them? What are you wasting your time going out with them for? Why? Is it because you're getting free stuff?
I was gonna say that perhaps for the free meal.
Yeah. Well, then if that's what you are, then you're a shallow person and you deserve everything that you get. You can't be shallow and taking advantage of people and then crying and complaining that you're not getting what you want.
Yeah.
So that's the reality. And that's the way I've always seen it. Like, if you don't respect me as the man, then you don't respect me. So why are we even together?
Yeah.
Why are you even together? It's like, it's so simple. It's so simple. The male brain is not that complicated.
Yep. Yeah, I think and in some cases sisters can take that concept and then go too far. I know that I was with a sister for a while where, we were together, everything was good. So, there came a point in time where I felt, hey, you should know these are what my finances in terms of savings, this is what I owe, this is my debt, whatever. So that basically, you can make a decision as to, because people are curious about that, but also to start to, we trust each other so that we can start planning and trying to build for something better. The thing was, she never gave me any her financial information. She just, refused, didn't want to tell me anything. I knew from stories, some things on the periphery that she was going through, but she just didn't want to give it up to me. And I later learned that, because she used to watch Susie Orman all the time, and Susie, like Mark says, is feminist, and her thing is, you need to set your financial stuff to take care of yourself, prevent you from being taken advantage of, and basically you need to watch out for what the man is or whatever. But we eventually broke up, whatever, and I found out, talking to her later, that she was like, well, I didn't want to give you my financial information because I knew that I made more than you. And I know how you men, got this whole idea of being the breadwinner, whatever. So, I just didn't, I felt if I let you know and you made more than me, that this would be a thing. And so, I was like, oh, okay, okay. And I went and I told my best friend the story, and he started laughing. And I started laughing because I was like, yeah, he's like, Eric, if anybody knew you, people know that, you don't care where the money's coming from. You want to retire. Like, yeah, man. If she making more money, I'd be like, hallelujah, I'll marry you now. Because, as long as I'm respecting a relationship, I don't care because, I come from a culture where if you're married, it's all going to be pulled together anyway. And so who can, but yeah. And so,
Yeah, it's like, it's what the problem is that I don't understand how people go into a situation with all of these caveats. And I guess I don't know. I guess there's pros and cons to it, but ultimately I see it as a con. Because if you decided that this is the person that I want to spend my life with, how do you half-ass that? I just don't get it. Like, how do you half-ass that decision? Because if you don't trust them somehow, or they're not quite the one, then you don't make that decision to go forward with them. But if you make the decision that I'm going to be with this person, this is the person I want to be with, and let's go forward. I can't do that with one hand. Like I got one eye open when we go to sleep at night. I can't do that. I have to trust you. I have to. Or else why am I with you? And I feel the same way. It's like, don't. It's and you can do it. It's not to say that you can't. I think that both men and women should have something on the side for themselves. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I don't think that that's a betrayal or anything. Like, have something on the side, save your own money where you can buy the thing that you like and all that. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that you have to, it doesn't have to be where you have to hide your finances from them. That could be an open thing. You have your joint account, and then you have your separate accounts. What's the problem?
Yeah.
That could be full transparency above the board. I doubt if anybody's going to make an issue because your woman wants to save money so she can get certain things that she likes, or the man wants to save money so he can get what he likes. What's the problem? See, the problem is people are not used to dealing with or interacting with people and interacting just on an honest, transparent level. That's what the problem is. They want to go into relationships, but they want to be individuals. You got to understand that when it comes to dealing with relationships, when it comes, and not just on an interpersonal relationship level, when it comes to dealing with the nation, the collective, there's certain things that you have to do if you want to work collectively. That's from a nationhood perspective, and there's certain things you have to do if you want to work collectively from a relationship perspective. It's not just about you. What are you producing together? What are you trying to do? What are you building toward? But we live in a society, like I said, where you have white feminists who's totally perverted what the feminine principle is, to the point where if women even talk about anything catering to the man that they are in a relationship with, that's looked upon or viewed, and this has a knee-jerk negative reaction. And that's the problem. We're listening to people who don't want relationships. Why are we listening to them?
Right.
Why are you taking your advice from women that are not involved in relationships with men and don't even know how to attract men?
Now that's a word. Where you getting your relationship advice from?
So that's the problem. It's like we're listening to too many people are chiming in on this stuff, and they're not working in our best interest.
That's true. That's true. What are you guys' thoughts on online dating? Eric, you touched on it a little bit.
Yeah. When I came here to DC, like I said, I just had trouble meeting women on the road. And so I just figured that because, you know, DC is this northern urban environment, I just figured everybody was scared. So you know, I asked my friends who had been here a long time, and they were like, well, I was like, what do I do? And they were like, well, you know, everybody's going online, everybody's doing Match.com. So yeah, I did Match.com for a while, and to be fair with it, I met one woman whom I did date on it, but for the most part, it was just terrible. And I mean, I eventually stopped doing it because it was depressing for me. Because I think that, and I understand the issues that sisters have with it in terms of, you know, they say that brothers use it as a, you know, kind of a hunting ground, you know, tell sisters what they want to hear and this and this and this and this. And so I can see it from that perspective. But from a male perspective, it's also very bad or depressing, because the thing is, as I was explaining to a sister, you know, first of all, it's very time intensive, because you have to, first of all, because men and women, we're all very visual. So, you know, you have to go and get like these really nice photographs that, you know, compliment stuff. So you have to put together, so you have to do that. And then when I used to use it, you have to come up with the essay that's, you know, this perfect thing that, you know, tells them what your values are and what you like and all of this stuff. And you got to be witty and all that stuff. So just putting together your profile takes a lot of time. And then once you put in the profile, basically it's kind of expected that men are kind of the aggressors, that men are the people who initiate the conversation. So as a man on the site, you have to go through, you know, the different profiles. You have to read everything that the woman says. You go through the pictures, you know, you make this, blah, blah, blah. And so, you know, just doing that takes a lot of time to, you know, to try to whittle down the list of women that you think you might be compatible with to this, you know, acceptable subset. And so once you've got that, then you have to, because you're the man, you're supposed to create the initial inquiry. So you have to, you know, write some kind of introductory email that to get the women's attention. Now, of course, the sisters say, well, first, they don't accept just hi. You know, they're like, we want you to say something. You're like, okay. And then they're like, well, if you're grammatically incorrect or this or that, you know, we're not going to respond. So, you know, you spend all of this time trying to create the perfect email. And let me tell you, because I do creative writing and stuff like that, I, in my opinion, have come up with some really, really great emails. If a sister says, you know, I like a man who can make me laugh. Okay. You come up with some humorous situation or joke, whatever the sister says, you know, you try and create something to get that initial interest. So, you know, you put in all of this time and you send this inquiry, and the thing is, you may never hear from this woman. And you don't know whether it's because, you know, I look a certain way, whether because, you know, there's something I said in my response that didn't, you know, get their attention, or whether it's something in my profile they didn't like, something they saw in the picture that, you know, I'm just ugly. They don't, you know, you just don't know, because there's no obligation to respond. And so what winds up happening, at least for me, is that, you know, you would go on Match because it really encourages you. It's one of those things you go on every day. It's like Facebook. You go on every day to check and see if you get some response, to see who the new people are and stuff like that. And, you know, you go on there every day hoping, expecting for an email from this person that you really like, and you just don't get nothing. And that's very, very depressing. And so, you know, and you're doing it all the time. And so it becomes this time sink. But also, the second part, so there's three parts. So the second part is that you also feel very guilty. I felt very guilty because there are sisters on the site who will send inquiries to you, who want to be, want to connect with you on some level. But you may look at their pictures and say, "Oh, I'm not attracted to this person," or you may read the profile and say, "No, this is not the person for me." And what your typical, so at first I started just trying to respond like, thank you for your interest, but it's just not, I don't think we're compatible or something like that. But you move to a point where you just don't respond, and maybe that's what the sisters are doing to me. And so you start to feel guilty because you feel bad because this is a person, and they got feelings and they're expecting to hear from you, like you're hoping to hear from some other person. And I just never really just felt good. I never came to a resolution where I felt like I was kind of doing the right thing. And then number three is that, it's kind of a scam because all of a sudden at some point I started getting all of these emails and inquiries from these Eastern European women, these white women who were incredibly young, incredibly attractive, who wanted all my, and I was like, where did this come from? Because, on my filter, I specifically say, I just want sisters. And, and I wasn't just, I was like, how are these people getting my information? But it just got so bad. I mean, I was getting, like 5 or 6 emails from just these random women who, I never, seen in my life. So I was like, this is just not, so I just stopped doing it. So,
I never did it because I'm more, if I have to give advice to guys, and it's going to sound kind of strange when I say this, but you have to be a peacock for yourself. And let me explain what I mean by that. You have to be cognizant of your style and the way that you present yourself to the world, but don't do it so you can get attention from other people. Do it for you. And be involved in what it is that your passion is. That could be whatever it is, whatever you enjoy doing passionately that brings you joy. Because when you do that and you level up your game, and when people see that you're engaged in your own reality, it tends to be more attractive to them. But when you do anything where it seems like you're trying to get someone's attention or trying to do, then it's a turnoff for people. That's just the way we're built. So the more you get into yourself and the more you get into your passion, the more attractive you be to people. But what I said was you have to be cognizant of your style. Be the best version of you that you can be. And me and Mary was talking about this earlier. Like, there's no male version of The View. There's no place where men can go to. They are now, there's pockets of it on YouTube, because people are filling that void. But there's not a lot of spots where men can go to and find out about fashion, find out about grooming, and find out about how you should do this and how, you know what I mean? It's like, there's not many forums for men to do that. So we're just out here freestyling and doing a lot of things that women are turned off by. You know what I mean? It's like, but it's not so much about them. It's more so about you. The way you got to look at it is, but I'm not doing it so I can attract some girl. I'm doing it because it makes me look better. It makes me feel better. And when you look at it from that perspective and you get into you are going to attract people automatically. It's going to happen. It's like you can't even help it. And what you will find, you may not, now when it comes to women don't do the approaching, but you'll find that women will be putting themselves in a situation where you can do the approaching. They're going to let their intentions be known through their mating signals.
And some women do approach.
Some do, but I'm going to tell you, me personally,
confident women do approach.
Me personally, I get turned off by that. I'm being honest with you. It turns me off when a woman, because it's like she doesn't have to do that.
So if you were at a social gathering or at a clothing store shopping, and a woman said hello to you,
No, that's not a turn off. Hello is not a turn off.
Okay.
But I'm talking about when you kicking it to me like a man kicks it to a woman.
Well, okay. No, I don't mean it like that. I didn't think.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I just meant. I mean, if you said hello, and I guess I agree with you.
Not a problem.
I agree with you that if when women see a guy that's attractive in an establishment, she might not speak first. She might look and smile. She might find herself looking at you and smile. So maybe that's what you're saying.
Yeah, she'll give you go signals if she's a competent woman. Like I said, the women has got this mastered. It's called passive aggression. Any women overseas have it automatically. It's like it's in their DNA. they just know how to do it. Women from the South used to be. Now this is when my generation. I don't know, but when I was coming up, women in the South were masters at that. Women from the Caribbean. The women that are the most incompetent at it are third generation city girls. If your mom and your grandmom was born in the city, more than likely you don't have that training. You don't have it. And I find that most of the incompetent techniques when it comes to men are from third generation city girls.
Sarah, hi.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, speaking of the South.
You have any thoughts that you would like to add?
I agree that women should let the men approach, because I used to approach men, and it got me nowhere fast because it always be the no-ended type of guys.
How would you approach them? What would you do?
I would just go up and start a conversation with them and just ask them if they're single. I just didn't care.
Okay.
That was in my younger years.
Yeah, asking them if they're single, that definitely is an indication.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had no tact back then.
No.
So what I'm telling is the truth. Like that's for me, and I can speak for me, and I'm sure I can speak for a lot of dudes. I don't want you to kick it to me.
Yeah, no,
because you're
right.
treating me like the chick.
You're right. You're right.
You're right. And see, Mark got it right. It's the city girls that do that, because that's where I got it from. Because when I moved to Charlotte, I'm from the country, as you can hear in my voice. When I moved to Charlotte, the girls was like, well, no, you can't just sit there and be passive and wait for a man to come up to you. You got to go get it. So that's what I thought. That's, because I seen them do it. So I was like, okay, I guess I need to try it. But
Here's
it
the
didn't
thing,
work.
Sarah. They're right and wrong at the same time. They're right in that if you see something that you want, you got to go get it. What they're wrong at is how to do that. That's where they're wrong. Because you can go out and get it by simply a smile and eye contact. Because for one, you'll find out if he's even interested. Maybe he's not attracted to you. Then he won't talk to you. And you didn't really lose anything. Even if you like that guy, you didn't lose anything.
Or he's involved already.
Yeah. Like, because men have to deal with that all the time. Like, just every woman that I'm attracted to is not going to be attracted to me. That's just the way it is. But women have to deal with it, but they don't have to deal with the obvious rejection. Like your rejection would be because he's not pursuing you. Our rejection is, no, I don't like you. It's a different type of rejection because we have to do the approaching.
Right.
So we all have to deal with it in a certain way, but it's the different ways that we deal with it. So if a woman wants to go for it, if she sees a guy that she's interested in, eye contact and a smile is all it takes, because then you'll find out if he's interested. And that's all you can do. But to approach him and let him know that you're interested in him it just reeks in a man's mind. It puts him in a bad position, and it reeks of desperation.
Yeah. And I've witnessed that. I've been out with a relative who was hungry. Okay. She was hungry for a man. And and it was embarrassing because I am not hungry for a man and I cannot relate to that. And it was embarrassing because every time we were in the presence of, it could be the grocery store, the bus stop, anytime we were in the presence of what she considered an attractive man, you know, she would aggressively make a play for the person. And it really was cringeworthy. I would cringe because you could feel the energy. They were being polite. She's intelligent, and you know, they were being polite, but it really the feeling that I felt from them was that they felt like they were like backed up against the wall, like she was putting them in a corner with her energy and her words.
You know
And
what?
that's not going to get anywhere.
Let me break it down to you in a way that everybody on this phone will understand.
Tell me.
I'm going to speak to you and I'm going to speak to Sarah. Let's say a guy came up to you and he liked you and it was an attractive guy, the type of guy that you are interested in, just aesthetically and whatever. And he comes up to you and he goes, "Oh my God, I love your skirt. Oh, that looks so cute. Da, 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 da. Oh, you think we can go out and have some dinner or sometime?" Like if he started approaching you like that, what would you do? You would be instantly turned off, right?
Yeah, I would be on edge.
That's how men feel when you aggressively approach them.
Yeah. I would be on edge. Yeah.
That's how men feel. We feel that same reaction that you have, but some effeminate guy, we feel that way when it comes to a masculine woman.
Yeah. And the reality is, I mean, this is the truth is, you know, in a heterosexual dynamic, if a man finds you attractive, and I'm speaking to the desperate, the sisters who are, and I don't like the word desperate, but that's what it is. But if you're longing for love, and I think longing for love and loneliness can make people behave insanely. You know, there's an insane behavior for some people, but this is the thing that you got to understand. Or really sit with yourself and have this conversation with yourself. Even though you're desperate, you cannot make somebody want to be with you. You know, yes, you see this person that's attractive in a store, wherever, you know, the traditional way of meeting someone, and that's wonderful. But just because you're desperate doesn't mean that that one attractive person is the right guy for you, and that your aggressive behavior is going to make him automatically be the guy for you that's going to be faithful and yours and all of that, you know. But when you're lonely, you're kind of not rational. You know, when you're desperate, you're not rational. And the only thing we can do in those moments, and I know it's cliche, but we gotta feed ourselves. We gotta feed ourselves the love that we want, which is what you're was saying earlier within the conversation, that you gotta make yourself look good. Listen, I make myself look good every day, because when I look good, I feel good.
Exactly.
So that is something that you do. I agree with you. You make yourself look good. You pour yourself into loving up on you, and then you put yourself in that environment. And I also think that we need to bring back house parties, where you kind of, gather your friends together. And create environments where your friends that are, your single friends can meet each other. And even if it's not a love connection, it's a nice, it's a way to just make friends and do things even as singles together, single male, single female. You guys not in a relationship yet, but you can still have gatherings where people can meet and fill that void of loneliness with some good, substantial friendships. I don't know. I'm always trying to find solutions, but I do think that I agree that, bringing this full circle, that's a good way to vet also, by having gatherings, bringing back some house parties.
But you're talking about a time where people were social. It's like people are anti-social now. Anti-socialism is what's taken over. So you got the war between black men and black women. Everybody's taking a side and everybody's armed and suited up. And it's not this, because what you're talking about is when we were coming up. It was a lot different back then.
Well, I'm trying to bring it back.
Yeah,
I'm trying to bring back that stuff.
This is another thing. This is why I say you have to be a peacock for yourself. You got to understand the dating and mating and attraction process as a man. If you're walking around as as an older man and you got like all of these Marvel comic figures on your t-shirts and stuff, that's not attractive to women.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you're walking
True.
around, you gotta understand that if your clothes are like 2 sizes too big, that's not
Yeah.
attractive to women.
That's true.
So you gotta understand, you gotta make yourself
That's real.
be the best version of yourself that you can be. And like I said, it's not necessarily just for them. That's a part of it.
Mhm.
But it has to be primarily for you. You have to look in the mirror and go, damn, I look good.
Mhm.
And when you do that, it makes you feel good. And when you feel good, people are attracted to you.
Because people can feel that.
Right.
People can
Just like with
sense
women. Because there's a lot. See, there's one thing that women want to do because they think that they're helping women. Oh, girl, there's just more of you to love. No, get to a fucking gym. I'm sorry. Get to a gym and make sure that you are looking the best that you can possibly look for yourself. Don't let anybody people want to coddle people and make excuses for them.
Mm.
I don't want anybody. If I'm looking like a slob, I expect Mariella and Sarah to go, Mark, what are you doing? I expect that. I don't expect them to go, oh, no, babe, it's all right. You can get fat as you want to. No, because that's not healthy and it's not making you feel good. I know I feel better when I'm in shape.
Mhm.
When I'm out of shape, I don't feel good.
Mhm. Mhm.
So we need to start telling our women that. We need to start telling our men that. We have to make men. We have to create circles where men give advice to each other. Because like I said, I grew up in this and I had to learn through dealing with guys who had style.
Mhm.
Like I had to learn, listen, don't walk out and you wear everything you wearing is just sneakers and t-shirts with graphic prints on them, and you just you're not really taking any thought into what you present before the world, and then you're wondering why you can't attract anything.
Right.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you, and I hear what you're saying. I have just a slightly different take on that, in that, I think that, I grew up in the South, and, my father didn't, he just completed high school, he didn't go to college or whatever. And so, it's very important to him that we basically kind of treat everybody the same, regardless to whether, it's the CEO of a company wearing a 3-piece suit or, a brother on the corner doing whatever. It's always, with anybody, it's yes sir, no sir, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So one thing I would say is, I hear what you're saying, yes, you want to present your best self and people are attracted to that, but that doesn't absolve women or men of just basic human decency
Kindness.
kindness, because every day I run into people who I talk, because I just like talk to people. They may be homeless, they may be in some clothes mismatched, whatever, but I just find that everybody has some wisdom if you just stop to listen to them. And everybody, you may be in a situation where that person who's dressed up, jacked up or whatever, it may be your key to surviving or something. That person, it can offer you some kindness to get you out of a jam. And also you just never know, because I remember when I was in Charlotte, North Carolina, I was in this large office complex, and there was a guy who was working gardening. He was doing the stuff, right? And I was like, oh wow, okay, they got this maintenance man, let me go speak to this brother. I went to speak to him. It turned out that this dude had a PhD in mathematics and he owned the office complex.
Mhm.
And I was just like, okay. You learn, so you just never know. And so I just think that one thing we all have to do is, yes, you want your best self and you're looking for the best in other people, but we also have to keep in mind that you just don't know what other people are going to. Because if you see me typically on a Saturday, because Amari knows this, I'm going to the Fort Totten trash transfer station because I collect trash in my neighborhood. So if you see me, I'm in some work boots and some dirty jeans and stuff like that because I've been either working in the yard or doing this and doing that. And I can understand people wanting to be. I might not want to talk to that brother, but if I happen to stop into Whole Foods or whatever, and I got a basket full of overpriced stuff, kind of give me the benefit of the doubt.
Agreed.
But you know what? I agree with everything that you're saying. The problem is, well, it's not really a problem. What it is that you can't expect the world to have your values. And the reality is that people. All right, it's like Dave Chappelle had this great joke where he said, "Imagine me, Dave Chappelle, the comedian, walking down the street in a cop uniform." He said, somebody might roll up on me like, "Oh, officer, help me. We need help. And he's like, "Listen, just because I'm dressed this way does not mean that I'm a police officer." You know what I'm saying? It's like you have to realize that the way that you present yourself and the way you present yourself is perceived. Like I'll give you, and I want to clarify what I mean. I'm not saying that you got to be suited and booted every time you get out the house. You could be very casual, but it's the way that you're casual. You have to be cognizant of your style and what that style says about you. Because I can go out of the house, let's say, with running shoes on, cargo pants almost down to my ankles, and a Hulk t-shirt. I can be comfortable and I can be the greatest person in the world. I have to understand how people will see me when they see me like that. Now, I can be comfortable in the same fashion, except maybe I'll have on some minimalist white sneakers. I have on some flat front shorts that's cut at the knees or above the knees. I have on a plain t-shirt with nothing on it, and I'm matching. I'm still casual. I'm still comfortable. I'm just more presentable. When people see me, they're gonna go, "Oh." You know what I mean? It's what is it that you're trying to do? Because if you're trying to attract people, you have to behave in a way that's going to get people attracted to you. Yeah. And like I said, but the main thrust of it is you have to do it for you. You have to be able to look into that mirror and say, "Do I look good?" And I get a lot. I'm gonna tell you, Mary is a big influence on me because she's the most stylish Black woman I've ever met.
Thank you.
Period.
Thank you.
Period. When we met each other in the street, and when I saw her, I was like, "Whoa!" She was, first of all, she's like 5 something,
4'11",
4'11" or something like that.
I'm 5 feet 5'2" with my heels.
And she was walking. What really attracted me to her was her walk. She was walking like she owned the city. And I just walked up there and said hello, and we just started a conversation. It wasn't even like and it's so funny because we never really dealt with each other like in a dating type thing. It was like we were just friends off the top. Yep. Yeah. And it's all based on that perception. It's like you have to present your best version to the world. That's what I mean. Because what you're saying is 100% true, Eric. I don't judge people just based off of I would never, because a brother's in a Hulk t-shirt, say, "Oh, he's a bum." I wouldn't say that. You know what I mean? But if I would ask that brother, if I was close to him and he was trying to talk to women and women are like turning up their nose and look, I would say, "Yo, son, let me give you some tips. How can you avoid that?" You know what I mean? But I wouldn't judge him. But I'm just saying that we need to be cognizant of how we're perceived by others, because there's ways that you can get that comfort level and whatever, but you could do it in a more stylish way. And there's a lot of guys who I grew up with that had a lot of style. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You learn from them. It doesn't mean, and like I said, style doesn't mean being suited and booted. It doesn't mean that you got to be in a suit or you got to be dressed up. You could be as casual as you want to be and be stylish. Yeah. And women are attracted to that. Women, the first thing a woman does when she sees me is look at my shoes. Mm-hmm. Am I wrong, Sarah? And
You're not.
they look.
You're not.
I
You're
look
not.
at them.
Because
I
you could
look
have
at
a
'em.
really nice suit on and ruin the entire look with your shoes.
Yep.
And you can have a really nice suit on and elevate the look even with your shoes.
Exactly. With this, pay attention to them. When you walk in, if you dressed up or whatever, and you see a sister and she looks at you, check her eyes and see where they go. Every time they go right to your feet.
What were you gonna say, Sarah?
That's like my husband. He got more shoes than me.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, when he dressed, he don't go nowhere. He be at the house, but he's still dressed. He's dressed down, but it don't. If you can see him, it's like he's going out. He's not. You know, he takes care of himself. He takes care of the way he looks.
Right.
And I admire, because I mean his shoes matches. He makes sure his shoes matches every single outfit he got.
Exactly. Exactly.
My son is the same way.
He's conscious of how he looks, and that's what most guys are not. They say that 80% of men don't even wear fragrance. You know what I'm saying? It's like we don't have a way to help brothers step their game up. There's no forums for that. And the guys who create those forums, they're doing very good because it doesn't exist. So they fill in that void.
And fragrance is a turn on.
Yeah.
Fragrance is a turn on. It really is. Not saying that you gotta douse yourself with the whole bottle, but fragrance is a man who smells good is a turn on.
And how do you put on fragrance? How do you put on fragrance is something that you can learn from other men. You know, you don't, like you said, you don't certain ways you put it on that gives you the effect that you want to get. But see, how are we going to learn that if we don't have somebody showing us?
Right.
You know? So it's like you just have to be the best version of yourself that you can be for you. So if you're a woman and you're 50 pounds overweight, you need to lose your weight and get in the gym and get in shape. If you're a man and you're out of shape, you need to lose that weight and get in shape. Why? Not only will you be attractive to people, but the most important thing is you can look in the mirror and say, damn, I look good. Because I personally love that. When I can look in the mirror and go, you killing it right now. I love that. Nobody has to say anything to me because when I go outside and I feel that way, people is going to look and go, I've had brothers come up to me and compliment me on the shoes that I'm wearing or the outfit that I'm wearing or something like that. Or, bro, you looking good, da, 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 da. Because you exude that when you feel it. And everybody else is going to feel it. Women are going to feel it. And they're going to notice you and you're going to stand out. If you're conscious about how you show yourself to the world. But if you go out like you don't care, I'm telling you, it may be wrong and they may not see the real you, but you ain't even, it's like when you go to a store, let's just keep it real. You go into a store based on the window dressing.
Yep.
Everybody. When you go to a store, you look at the window dressing. If it don't look up to par, you ain't going in that store. And it's the same thing with people. What is your window dressing like? What are you presenting to the world? Is it worth even getting to know you?
And for women, it's okay to walk through life, you know, with a pleasant look on your face. I'm not saying to walk with a, you know, cheesing ear to ear all the time, but it's okay. You know, I have a friend and she wanted a relationship, but when I would bump into her on the street, she literally was mean mugging everybody.
Yeah.
She literally had this, you know, mean. I was intimidated and I'm her friend by the look on her face. You know,
that's
so
crazy.
I'm like, there's no way that anybody, and she's an attractive young lady, but there's no way anybody is going to can look past that energy. Energy is powerful. We got to know that. We know energy is powerful because how many times do you think of someone and they call you? You know what I mean? Or you say their names and they, you know, and all of a sudden they're, you know, you get a text from them. So energy is powerful. So if you walk through the world, like you said, being the best version, investing in yourself. What you're saying is investing in yourself, in your presentation, in your aura, all that, when you present that to the world, there's no way that you're not gonna attract some positive energy, and perhaps somebody that may even be the one, or a solid friendship, with someone that's gonna help contribute to your life and add value to the quality of your life. So that is real, how you present yourself.
I want to make a point, if you don't mind.
Sure, please,
because it's on my mind.
Yeah, please.
2 points, actually. The first point is to build off what you just said. You should be cordial and friendly to everybody, not just the guy that you're attracted to.
Yep.
That you're going to, now all of a sudden you're going to smile for him. No, be cordial and friendly to, like, most. I've had a homeless woman come up to me and compliment me on how I looked.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, thank you. I smiled and thanked her. Like, it's always a pleasure when somebody compliments you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say, "Ooh, you're homeless. Let me get
right."
That's crazy.
And it's a nice exchange of energy.
Exactly. Don't let it just be because you smile at the guy that you think is cute. That's phony.
Yeah.
Smile at people just in general. Smile at men, smile at women. Be friendly. If somebody says good morning, say good morning back. It doesn't take anything away from you by doing that. Those are common courtesies. Now, another point that I want to make while it was on my mind. If I had to give advice to men, my advice would be to men who's trying to up their style game. Find a tailor in your neighborhood. Go to that tailor and get measured.
Yeah, good idea.
Go get measured. Get your measurements from head to toe, your neck, your sleeve length, your waist, your belly. Get all of that measured, because you're going to need that when you go and you update your wardrobe. Just go to a tailor. I don't even think it costs anything. Go to a tailor and say, listen, I need to be measured. Because that way, once you're measured, you know, what size shirt do I actually wear? Because most guys wear oversized shirts because they think that's comfortable. And they don't fit, and they don't make you look right. You look like a big grown little kid.
Good points.
What's your waist size? What's your pant size? Grown men should not be wearing you got to be modern in the cuts. Are you wearing big flared out pants? Wear slim fit. It doesn't mean wear skinny jeans, because that's too extreme, but wear straight slim fit jeans that fit you, waist that fit you, where you don't have to bunch your waist up when you get pants. That means you're getting sizes too big. And all of that could be avoided if guys would just go to a tailor and get measured.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because that way you could take that information and you can go out and buy clothes. And if you have clothes that are too big or you want to get them customized, you can go to that same tailor, because he has your measurements, and he can customize your own clothes to fit you.
And if you enter that point, if you wear glasses, there's nothing wrong with funkying up that look.
Yeah, get some progressive lenses.
Yeah, and making your glasses go with your outfits and funkying up, make it funky. Have fun with it. Have fun. And I'm always available for consultations.
There you go. You got the number one style woman on the line right now.
I love clothing. I love style. I love all that stuff. I do. So I am always available, styling your home, styling your body, presentation and stuff, because I believe that you surround yourself with beauty, and that brings out the beauty in you. And that's for male and female. That's not a one-sided
services too. Like, I'm not no expert, but I do know a lot, and I'm willing to share whatever I know. Like, if you need to know what colognes to wear in what situations, give me a holler.
Yeah.
You want to know, because I can give you the seasons, what colognes are best for what seasons, what colognes are best for what occasions. I can point you in the right direction when it comes to how to wear certain clothes in the summertime, how to dress in the spring, how to dress in the winter, what type of shoes that every man should have, stuff like that. Like, I know the basics.
Yeah.
And if somebody doesn't know the basics, I can help them. Like, if just hit me up at holitism@gmail.com, and I'll do whatever I can to help, because I'm always willing to help. And if I need help, I'll always call Mary.
I love it.
Always call Mary.
I love it. All right, guys, we've been on for an hour and a half, so I've really enjoyed this conversation.
Yeah.
I got a lot from
Nice
it.
to
Eric,
meet you, Eric.
yes,
Oh,
you
nice
guys,
meeting you, Mark. Thank
you
you.
guys should stay in touch. I'm telling you, I'm gonna have a
Is
party.
he on Facebook?
No, I'm actually not on Facebook. No, I'm
What-
kind
what's-
of.
Oh,
What
okay.
social media are you on?
To be honest, I'm not on any social media.
Oh, you know, all right. Then you know what? Just send me an email then.
Okay.
Let me put my email in the chat.
Okay,
Hold on.
great.
yeah, and I could definitely give you each other's emails too. But you got his Holipsism. You can see it on here. Okay, so
I
you
see
see
the
it.
Holipsism
Holipsism at Gmail.
at gmail.com. Okay.
And I'm gonna put yours, if that's okay. Is that okay?
Oh yeah, that's fine. That is fine.
Lynn LYNN
RIC
RIC 777
Yes, ma'am.
at mail.com.
Yeah, just MAIL.
You're the only person I know with that one. That's new to me.
Yeah,
Mail.
I have the Gmail also for Limerick 777, but I just generally send it to mail. Yeah, they were a company came in business a while before Google Mail came into existence. So I just been using it for. So anyway.
Yeah. I'm gonna have a party. Where do you live, Sarah? Did you say you're in North Carolina?
Yeah, I'm in Greensboro.
Oh, okay. I've been there before.
Yep, I've been to Greensboro. Yep.
Yeah, Maya Angelou. I think Stephanie Mills lives in Greensboro, and I thought Maya Angelou lived in Greensboro too.
Oh,
Is that
wow.
right? Yeah,
I'm new here in Greensboro, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, but I'm gonna have a party one day. I'm bringing back the house parties, guys. And
Yeah, we need it.
yeah, what are you gonna say, Eric?
Oh, I was just say, just give me time to go get some cologne because I don't have cologne, and
Oh yes, so hold it. You gotta hook Eric up. Hold
Oh,
it.
I'm gonna hook Eric up.
You gotta hook him up. Yes.
I'm gonna give him a nice starter cologne because if you're not into colognes, you need something that's all purpose.
Okay.
So I'll send you something.
As long as it goes with my Green Lantern T-shirt, I'm fine. You talking about T-shirt? I'm like, okay.
Hey, Mark.
Yes,
Yo.
babe. Oh,
What is a good starter cologne? Because my husband, he's been like the cologne that he used to get irritates his skin. So I have been getting him the Bath and Body Works, the male version of stuff at Bath and Body Works. He do okay with that, but I like for him to wear cologne. But it's like every time he gets it, it irritates his skin.
What is it that's irritating? Is he allergic to something?
He said he guess so. It just irritates his skin.
Every
And I told him
cologne,
to
or is
put
it
it on
certain
his-
colognes?
He said everyone he tries.
So he needs to find out first what he's allergic to because that might be what the issue is. But if I had to pick one cologne, and I'll give Eric this suggestion too. Well, actually, two. If I had to pick one that's just an all-around versatile cologne that you can wear summer, winter, spring, whatever. CK Shock.
CK
Shock.
Yeah. That's a nice mainstream. No. That's like a $20 cologne.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's very good. It hits way above its weight class. Why am I getting an echo?
Yeah, I don't know why
too.
I'm hearing echoes now too. All right, well that must be.
Wait, is somebody listening on their computer?
Yeah.
I'm on my
You gotta-
phone.
I'm on my computer.
I mean, I haven't done anything differently, so I don't know
Sometimes
why.
the connection gets bad, so it could just be a sign they're like, y'all been on the phone
It's
too
not
long.
right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
so I'm gonna
CK
jump off.
Let me give it one more.
Okay, yes.
CK Shock, that's one. And for the summertime right now, get Nordica Voyage.
Nordica, I'm writing this down. Voyage.
That's a nice summertime cologne.
Okay.
And just a quickie, the way you apply cologne is a spray behind both ears, spray on the front of the neck and the back, and on both soldiers.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And with both of those, you can actually spray it on your t-shirt or clothes, without it staining it.
Oh, okay. So if her husband is allergic to it, that's probably what he could do.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't drown yourself in cologne.
Right, exactly.
It's just that you want a hint that when you walk by, people go, what's that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's the effect. But those two right there are good starters. They're cheapies. They're not no more than like $20, and they're good.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have some other ones when you want to get rolling, but those are the ones that I would start with.
Okay.
All right, guys, this has been really wonderful. Thank you, Sarah, for joining. Thank you, Vic.
It's nice meeting you.
Yeah, great meeting you. I hope to chat with you again. I love these conversations. Let's do it again next week. Thank you, Darius, Dawood. Thank you again, Eric. And of course, Brother Holik. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, much love, peace and blessings, guys.
All right, take care.
You too.
All right.